Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at Côte d'Ivoire and its really complex path towards national reconciliation. We'll do this by focusing on one person's story, someone caught up in political chaos, pushing for peace, whose eventual release sent, well, quite a signal. So our mission here is to unpack what happened when Gnamé Modeste Seri and a French journalist were released. What did that moment really tell us about the bigger picture? The whole difficult journey towards peace there. And we're drawing on insights from the research piece, Côte d'Ivoire, Paths to Reconciliation and Enduring Peace.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how sometimes these, well, seemingly smaller events, individual stories, can actually shine a really bright light on these huge national processes. Things like healing, dialogue, especially after conflict. It's often in these personal stories that you really get a sense of the human side of it all, the resilience needed.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The main event. May 2009, Gnamé Modeste Seri, who headed the Diaspora of Ivorian Youth, or DJCI, and a French journalist, Jean-Paul Ney, are released from the MACA prison in Abidjan. Now, Ney's story is interesting too, but we're really focusing on Seri today. And this release, it wasn't just, paperwork. It was seen as a real sign.
A sign of de-escalation.
Exactly. Or what was a very, very tense political situation.
And the immediate splash an event like that makes. It's quite something. A single release might seem small scale, but in that kind of volatile atmosphere, it can create ripples, spark a bit of hope maybe, signal a possible change. The international community watches closely, of course, but more importantly, people in Côte d'Ivoire are looking for these signs. So it makes you ask, what did his detention actually represent for his release to carry so much weight?
Right, that's the key question. Why was he even detained? Well, it goes back to a meeting in December 2007 in Côte. He met with Ibrahim Coulibaly, who people called IB.
Ah, IB. Now, he was a significant figure.
Definitely. Not just anyone. He'd been a bodyguard for Alassane Ouattara back in the 90s, later a pretty controversial former rebel leader. Just mentioning his name brings up a lot of history.
Complexity past conflict, yeah.
But here's what's really striking about Seri's situation. After meeting IB, he didn't, disappear. He actually went completely voluntarily to the Directorate of Territorial Surveillance, the DST, in January 2008. He went to explain the meeting himself.
He presented himself to explain. That's unusual.
Very. And his reason, he said he met Coulibaly, and I'm quoting here, to contribute to strengthening the peace process established under the Ouagadougou agreements. Those agreements were basically the roadmap designed to end the civil conflict and get the country back on track.
So he wasn't hiding it. He was framing it as peace work.
Exactly. Positioning himself as someone trying to build bridges, even though it was clearly incredibly risky.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, it really highlights how tricky these peace processes are. Even trying to open dialogue, maybe outside the official channels, can backfire spectacularly. It forces us to think about individual motivations, the risks people take, sometimes with, unforeseen consequences.
That risk, the potential for misunderstanding intentions, it makes Seri's own background even more important. Who is this guy? Well, he trained as a banker, started at Société Générale, SGBCI, in Abidjan. Then in '93, he went to the U.S., studied banking and high finance. And while he was in New York in 2003, he founded this group, the Diaspora of Ivorian Youth, DJCI, and its specific goal, promoting peace and dialogue.
So this wasn't something new for him. This focus on peace was core to his work, even from abroad.
Absolutely, and not just talk. He put together these videos, Noël Abidjan, showcasing his efforts, trying to foster reconciliation. But here's the irony. Despite this clear track record, when he actually returned to Côte d'Ivoire in 2006, the reports say he got unjustly entangled in the political turmoil.
Unjustly entangled, even though,
as the source stresses, he was never directly or indirectly involved in the armed conflict.
Wow. That really hits home, doesn't it? It raises a tough question. How do you keep that commitment, that unwavering belief in peace, when you face that kind of personal blowback, political trouble, even ending up in exile later?
Which is exactly what happened. He's been living in exile in Ghana since October 2010, apparently for security reasons.
Still in exile now.
As far as the source indicates, yes. But, and this is crucial, despite all that, the hardship, being displaced, he remains steadfast. He's apparently planning to return, not for revenge or anything like that, but to keep working on peace consolidation and genuine national reconciliation. He sees it as absolutely vital for peaceful elections in the future.
That persistence, despite the personal cost, despite the ongoing fragility back home, it's quite remarkable. These are the kinds of people often working behind the scenes who are the real engines of peace building sometimes. It shows that individual dedication, that personal drive, can be a powerful force even when the big political structures seem, well, shaky or even hostile.
And just to close the loop on Ibrahim Coulibaly, IB, the person Seri met with. The sources mention he was killed in 2011. The circumstances around his death are apparently still unclear today.
Right, and the way these lives intersect, even across deep political divides that's so common in times of major national upheaval. The fact that the release of Seri and Ney back in '09 was seen as this reminder of the urgent need to continue working for lasting peace, it just underlines how ongoing, how fragile, and how deeply human this whole process of reconciliation actually is. It's not a quick fix. It's not just about agreements on paper. It's about healing, rebuilding trust, figuring out how to live together after conflict.
So, thinking about all this, what's the main takeaway for you? Listing in. We've looked at this one specific moment, Seri's release, but seen through the lens of his incredible, unwavering commitment, even when things got incredibly tough for him personally.
Yeah, I think it really reminds us that peace isn't just made in high-level meetings. It's also, woven together from individual acts. Acts of courage, like Seri meeting IB, perhaps, or voluntarily going to the authorities. It's about dialogue, persistence, quiet dedication over the long haul. His story gives us a real insight into the nuances, the challenges, and maybe some of the unexpected paths reconciliation can take.
And maybe here's something to leave you with, a thought to chew on. How can stories like Seri's stories of individuals pushing for reconciliation despite conflict, despite immense personal sacrifice, how can they change our understanding of what really makes peace-building work, whether it's on a national level like in Côte d'Ivoire or even, globally? What can that kind of resilience teach us?